I am born beneath the ground. Everything that lives is beneath the ground on Krieg. I am the 251st child to be born to breeding Factorum 74 on the 52nd thousandth of the year 41935. The numbers are rearranged and entered into the system. They become, for all official purposes, my name. 52.935.41/251.74. When I'm older, I prefer to be called Jonas. On the day of my birth, I am placed within incubation tanks and exposed to trace quantities of toxic air to build up my immunities. I'm probably crying. My nursemaid is a hairless servitor with sagging udders and yellow skin. Her milk is poisoned with growth hormones and background radiation. It's nothing more than what I deserve. Many children die that day in breeding Factorum 74. Many more will die in the days that follow. They are damned. They will never serve him. They will never atone for the sin with which they are born. Those that survive grow quickly. Those that survive develop a resistance to the most toxic of environments. They also develop cancers, without exception. It doesn't matter. Cancer won't kill any of us. In the months that follow, some of the children are deemed too strong and too resistant to the toxins introduced to their blood. They are deemed mutant and are incinerated in infant-sized ovens. I do not die. I am not incinerated. My penance continues. I reach my 6th birthday. It is not celebrated. We do not celebrate life on Krieg. I only know it's my birthday because I've been named for the date on which I was born. I am 5 foot tall and weigh 90 pounds. On other worlds, I would be mistaken for a 12-year-old. My diet has been laced with growth hormones since the day of my birth. My childhood is a soldier's basic training. I can run and I can climb, and I can strip a lasgun in under 3 minutes. We train together. Thousands of children of batch 935.41 from across breeding Factora 73 and 74. Adults wearing gas masks order us to perform punishing physical exercises and drill us to keep formation across uneven terrain and under live fire. We are given lasguns, and we practice our marksmanship on condemned mutants. It does not take long to get used to the screaming, and the begging, and the sharp smell of cauterized skin. Or on some days, we gut them with bayonets. I learn what it feels like to puncture skin, and what it smells like when a stomach is exposed to the air. As we train, the adults occasionally fire las rounds over our heads or by our ears. I become accustomed to gunfire, and learn not to flinch or cry when it sounds. My hearing is irreparably damaged, but I'll have a microbead when I'm deployed. I'll be able to hear my orders. I won't need to hear anything else. After long days of physical training, we are herded into the church hall to receive spiritual ministration. A preacher wearing a gas mask stands at the front. But for his steel pulpit and a loud hailer system bolted into the walls, the church hall is just a wide, empty space to stand in. We form perfect ranks and stand stock still as the preacher sermonizes. He teaches that we are unforgiven for the crimes of our forefathers. He teaches that we are the descendants of the blackest of traitors, and that their sin is a poison that still runs in our corrupted blood. He teaches that we betrayed the Emperor. He teaches that we murdered our world. We deserve nothing but pain and death. But the Emperor is merciful. The Emperor allows us to serve.
To serve is to die. To die is to serve.
If we serve well, we may even be forgiven. We are encouraged to hurt each other. We are encouraged to hurt ourselves. We are violent, sinful creatures. It's nothing more than what we deserve. I use my mono knife to carve an Imperial Aquila into my thigh. I watch the blood swell around unhealthy yellow skin and wish I could flay myself clean. My self-punishments are secret. I do it when we're meant to be sleeping. Other children are less private. Some children mutilate themselves in the canteen in front of everyone. Some children pick up their lasgun, stick the barrel in their mouth, and pull the trigger. The adults don't like it when we die like that. The preacher teaches that self-destruction is the blackest of sins, that it is to spit on the Emperor's mercy and risk his fury upon us all. When a child dies like that, their body is hanged from a beam. We are made to beat the corpse until it is a boneless mess of blood and skin. Nonetheless, we are encouraged to hurt each other. We are encouraged to hurt ourselves. It is nothing more than what we deserve. Sometimes there are accidents. Sometimes it isn't really an accident, but we all pretend otherwise. The first time I am injured, seriously injured, I am 7.5 years old. I am an awkward, ungainly child, suffering through an erratic puberty, a patchwork mess of scrawny muscle, greasy hair, and terrible acne. My emotions are all over the place. We're all like that. We're all vicious and mean and angry, and we hate everyone, especially ourselves. I don't remember what I say, just that I say it to Thomas, and that it isn't very nice. He comes at me with a combat knife and cuts my arm to the bone. I want to claw out his eyes, but now other children are dragging us apart. Someone calls for a medic. Someone is laughing. Maybe it is Thomas. I receive 18 stitches, an afternoon off, and some disinfectant for the dozen or so cuts on my thigh. I am 12 years old. I am a muscular young man with 100 scars. I wear a gas mask, a knee-length leather coat, and black shine boots that crunch against the rubble of my homeworld. It's the first time I've seen the surface of Krieg. It is a blasted landscape of atomic holocaust. There's no sun. It's strangled out by the permanent dust clouds that pollute the air and thrash radioactive lightning across the sky. We train in the bones of our dead cities. I am a corporal in the 3rd Squad of Gamma Platoon, 7th Company. We advance in tight formation across the ashen ruins of an annihilated hab block. A few walls are still standing, forever stained with the dusty imprint of vaporized traitors. These are the remains of my forebears. This is the black sin that sludges through my heart. The scream of Earthshaker cannons are Doppler effect batteries through half-deaf ears. Their barrage creeps 50 yards ahead, throwing up thick clouds of ash and dust. If the combat engineers miscalculate, or there is a malfunction, we may be caught in the blast radius of our own artillery. It's happened before. At least, I think so. It's one of those stories that gets passed down from one company to another, acquiring new details with each retelling. Didn't you hear? 12th Company fragged their own squads. 11 are dead, 7 are wounded. I heard it was on purpose. I heard an engineer was executed. I heard he was promoted. The wind is a howl of a world haunting itself. We've been up here for days, clearing minefields planted centuries ago, and adding trenches to the world-spanning canvas of abandoned defenses. The radiation stings. My skin is red and raw beneath my coat. My lips are cracked and peeling behind my mask. It's within our tolerance. That's what the officers say. Anyone who dies shouldn't have been here in the first place. I distract myself from the artillery's boom by concentrating on the prickle of radiation. I picture bubbling cells, mutating and forming cancers. I picture black poison mixing with the black sin, nothing but death and wickedness oozing through my veins. The sergeant brings us to a halt. He shouts 1 minute through the crackling vox. 1 minute until the artillery curtain clears. We fix bayonets. The enemy is up ahead. They're dug in. They can't see us through the smoke, but they'll know we're there. Just 100 meters away, the enemy is fixing bayonets as well. The screams of earthshakers leave behind a howling silence of deafening numbness. It is pierced by the electronic screech of microbead whistles. We charge. Tilda shouts prayers to the God Emperor. I am silent. The enemy meets us halfway through the settling dust and ash. They wear knee-length leather coats and gas masks. They wield las guns with bayonets fixed. Some of them shout prayers to the God Emperor, but most of them are silent. No one fires. We have been ordered not to. That way, fewer soldiers will die in the imminent carnage. It's another one of those stories that gets passed around the canteen. I heard the 303rd made their companies open fire on each other. Half of them died. Maybe it happened. Maybe it didn't. It's nothing more than what we deserve. We meet upon poisoned ground. I drive my bayonet towards my enemy's chest, but our las guns slam together and I'm thrown off target. My blade glides along the carbon fiber of a flak chestplate. I stumble. I compensate by driving my knee into my enemy's stomach. He grunts harshly as the air leaves his body. My enemy pushes me back. He's bigger than me and stronger. He brings down his bayonet in a chop, and I jump back before it scratches flak. I stab towards his stomach, but I've leapt back too far, and he dodges with ease. He closes the distance, producing an inarticulate sound of purest hate as his bayonet quests for my throat. I back the weapon away. Our las guns connect with more force than we expected. Our guns are jarred from our hands, clattering on the rockreed. My enemy doesn't hesitate. He tackles me to the midriff. My helmet cracks on the corner of a ruined wall. I feel dizzy, but I think it's just the helmet that's damaged. He's still on top of me. He reaches for a block of dusty rockreed, hoping to use it to bash in my skull. I try to throw him off. I can't. He's bigger than me, and stronger. Tilda barrels into him from the side. I think it's Tilda. I recognize the shape of her shoulders and hips. They go sprawling. I blink. It's difficult to think. Maybe it's not just my helmet that's cracked. He's bigger and stronger than Tilda, too. He pins her to the ground. He reaches once more for his rockreed block. Tilda claws at his face. She manages to pull his gas mask halfway off his head, and his helmet with it. I can see his hair, dried out and thin by the radiation of Krieg. My hand closes around something heavy at my hip. It's my entrenchment tool. It'll do. I bury the edge of my shovel in the back of my enemy's skull. I feel the crack of fractured bone and the tension tear of parted skin. He stops moving. I stagger back. I leave my entrenchment tool in his head. It's in deep enough to remain in place. Blood and brain stuff dribbles over the steel. Tilda pushes the corpse off her, wheezing for breath. I see the face of the boy I killed. It's Thomas. I think I'm 15 years old. With the warp, it's difficult to tell. Our regiment is deployed to the war world of Casper and Mundus. The planet reminds me of home. It is a mausoleum of broken cities and torn up landscapes, scarred by overlapping trench lines and minefield boils. No one has unleashed atomics, but the sun is suffocated by the ash and dust of billions of lives, and fell sorceries rack the clouds with blasphemous light. The war for Casper and Mundus is in its 19th year. It has consumed entire regiments. It is one of the deadliest war zones of the Segmentum Tempestus. I am told that we volunteered specifically for this deployment. For a moment, that makes me feel proud before I remember what I am. A sinner. Traitor spawn. Filth. But we seek forgiveness. We are the 410th. We are Legion. We are the Death Korps of Krieg. We deploy in silence from the heavy landers, forming neat formations across a battle-ravaged square. More shuttles descend from the black heavens, delivering more soldiers and materiel. Basilisks churn down aching ramps. Lehman Russ battle tanks belch smoke across our immaculately drawn lines. I stare forward, anonymous behind my mask. Tilda is beside me. She's close enough that our shoulders brush together. It sends a guilty thrill through my body. Ahead, our colonel converses with an officer of the Cadian 61st. The Cadian looks uncomfortable. She stares out across our ranks, the unease palpable in her mutant purple eyes.
It should not be tolerated,
Tilda mutters. She has always been chatty. 9.
Mutant scum.
She will get what she deserves. Our quiet conversation is hidden behind our masks and the rumble of tank engines. Still, on my left, Bastian tenses. He's annoyed by our chatter. I ignore him. Do you remember Thomas? I ask. There is a frown in Tilda's voice.
Yeah? Why do you ask?
I don't know.
So lucky.
Who?
Thomas, to die so young.
I remember the sensation of burying a spade in the back of his skull, the way the impact reverberated up my arm. I wouldn't call that lucky.
Don't say that, Jonas.
What's so lucky about it, then? I ask. I already know what Tilda will say, but it passes the time.
To serve is to die. To die is to serve. He is forgiven. He got to die, while we suffer in sin.
I smile behind my gas mask. She has always been passionate. We march for 2.5 days along the broken roads of Casper and Mundus. Our boots grind the ash of children into the dust of their parents. We march to oppose the advancing enemy. They are pushing down the processional terror, a 30-lane highway that leads directly to Casperin City. Theirs is a gamble. If they are stalled on the processional, they will be overextended and vulnerable. The 410th will stall them. We will bog them down in the swamp of our bodies. Our march ends just over 100 clicks from Casperin City. The processional terror is a dusty ruin of cracked rockcrete and bombed-out vehicles. It barely functions as a road, but it is still better for vehicles than the bumpy, cratered wasteland around it. We have approximately 4 days before contact. We use most of that time building fortifications. Atlas recoveries tow broken vehicles into makeshift barricades. Engineers lay crack charges in rockcrete fissures, and we get to work expanding those small craters into trenches. We smash apart half-exploded rock with entrenchment tools and dig until we reach the soil beneath. It is back-breaking work. It rains constantly, the water acidic from the physaline fumes. Each raindrop fizzes against my coat. 7th Company works 2 shifts before we are rotated out for physical recuperation. I am a sweaty, exhausted young man with yellow skin and greasy hair. 2 days before contact. 2 days before, in all likelihood, I die. It's a strange feeling. I hate myself and want to die, but I'm scared, too. I'm excited, I'm elated, and I'm terrified. I decide that I don't want to die a virgin. Tilda doesn't take much convincing. We perform our inexpert fumbles in the squad tent while the others are sleeping. Afterwards, She traces her finger along the scars on my thighs and says that she loves me. I say that I love her, too. I hear the enemy before I see them. Their howls of blasphemy travel on a fell wind. We are ordered not to listen, but it's redundant. Our hearing has been impaired from a young age. I couldn't make out any words, even if I wanted to. Still, it is a strange sound. The enemy sounds happy. The basilisks fire. Now I hear nothing but the Earthshaker cannons. I peer forward through the dust, but I can see little beyond the rising smoke of detonating artillery shells. Microbead whistles sound down the line. We brace our lasguns against the lip of our trench. As 7th Company, we are near the front. The Lehman Russ battle tanks begin firing. The boom of their battle cannons is a thunder of war. I see the enemy through the smoke. Blasphemous mutants form their vanguard, feathered, furred beastmen with avian heads and cloven hoofs. They wear no armor beyond the crude greaves along their thighs, and carry no gear beyond revving chainsword and blocky autopistols. Eyes sprout across their chests and along wicked beaks. Their feathers and furs form prisms of vivid color, shocking blues and urgent purples. They lope towards us. Their movements are disjointed and giddy, an arrhythmic, jerking dance. We hold our fire. When they are within optimal range, the captain gives the order to fire. Thousands of las rounds spike from our line, a blitzing onslaught of overlapping waves of light. I suddenly feel very calm. It is no different from the drills I've performed since the age of 3. Beastmen are pitched to the ground. Feathers catch alight as fur burns. They are quick and they are tough, but our mass fire is so overwhelming that there is nothing to do but die. When our charge packs exhaust, we step back for the next squad to take our place while we reload. It is so smooth, so practiced, that there is no perceptible lull in our wait of fire. It continues like this for almost 10 minutes. The logistical corps deliver a constant flow of charge packs. Heavy weapon teams cut down the enemy in droves. The basilisks keep screaming. The Lehman Russes keep booming. The beastmen dead form a blanket so thick that I cannot see the road beneath. It's only the vanguard. The enemy is using cannon fodder to provide cover for its real strength to position and deploy. I know the second phase of the battle has started when the road around our position begins to explode. The whistle of mortar shells is barely perceivable over the general cacophony. The dust and shrapnel is less easily ignored. I feel a shard of metal embed in my flak, drawing blood from my side. 20 yards down the line, Kriegers scream as a lucky shell lands in the trench and blows apart half a dozen soldiers. My heart beats fast. It's difficult to see through the smoke. I can barely make out the enemy's advance. Squads of infantry run behind trundling battle tanks, Lehman Russes daubed in heretical markings and blasphemous colors. They are just silhouettes. The battle has kicked up so much dust that we are already fighting in the equivalent of a sandstorm. An endless barrage of sound forms one overlapping roar. I take deep breaths of stale air through my gas mask and smell nothing beyond their sterile canisters. I keep firing. I haven't been ordered to stop. Our las rounds ripple out, spears of light disappearing into the fog. I can't see if I'm hitting anything. That doesn't matter. We keep up the volume of fire and trust in the Emperor for the rest. A battle cannon shell hits the road a few meters from the lip of our trench. I am sent flying by the blast, careening into another trooper and onto the ground. When I try to stand, another shell explodes behind the line and flings me forward. I taste blood. I have headbutted the lip of the trench. My gas mask has slammed to my face and broken my nose. A desperate microbead whistle whines like a concussed ringing through my ears. Shaking away dizziness, I obey and fix bayonets. In my uncoordinated state, I barely get the bloody thing on before the enemy is upon us. A traitor in the face Cadian fatigues jumps into the trench. It hasn't seen me. I'm still sprawled against the trench wall. I shoot it to the back and it's thrown to the floor. Another traitor takes its place. I gun it down and stumble to my feet. People are shouting. I can't make out any words. Everything is too loud. I blink. Bastion is grappling with one of the enemy, wrestling on the ground for possession of a combat knife. I run forwards and bury my bayonet in his enemy's back. The traitor shrieks, and I stab it again and again until its flak jacket is red with blood. I throw it off Bastion. He's already dead, combat knife in his neck. There's no time to process that. More traitors are leaping into the trench. I open fire, killing another before a last round catches my right hand. The skin burns. The nerves misfire. My las gun slips from my grasp. This is it. My left hand fumbles for my entrenchment tool. It's the closest thing to a weapon I have. I see Tilda die, run through by a traitor's sword. She falls around the weapon, almost plaintively, almost gently. I remember meeting Tilda for the first time. She came from breeding Factorum 73. She was a gangly, acne-riddled girl with sweaty hair and too many hormones. She introduces herself as 554.935.41/428.73. She prefers to be called Tilda. My voice breaks when I tell her my name. She's just an awkward teenage girl. She still is, even as she dies. I hope the Emperor forgives her. I stagger forwards, spade in hand. Someone shoots me to the back. I feel 2 las rounds sear through the flak and burn my flesh. I'm on the ground. I can't breathe properly. I think one of my lungs has collapsed. I try to stand, and I'm too dizzy. The world is spinning. I don't know which way is up. Before I return to my senses, someone tramples me, forcing all the remaining air from my body. I gasp soundlessly. I can't take in another breath. My vision fades. It's nothing more than what I deserve. Emperor, please, forgive me.
Thank you for listening to this video from the Archive Tower. If you enjoyed this story, please like and subscribe to the channel.